Welcome to online lectures by CA Studies. For more lectures online, please do visit castudies.lk.
As we've learned so far, we have understood how to read the Z-score table, which is the normal distribution table, and also we learned how the Z formula works, which represents X, which is the normal distribution data, minus mean divided by standard deviation will give us the number of standard deviations. And by using the number of standard deviations, which is represented by the lines as you see my cursor moves, vertical and the horizontal lines, basically it gives the area under the graph. So the middle values that you could see in this table is basically the area under the graph for a particular value of Z. Okay, so the Z is not a value on the graph, it's actually the gap between mean and X. Okay, whereas X is the normal distribution data. So we've looked at this and see, so it's the value of the variable under consideration. So it's like a sales or whatever, the data that they have given in the question, the same thing you could consider. Fine. So now if they give in the question that 99% of frequencies occur in the range mean plus or minus 2.58%. We have learned how to write ranges in previous chapters. We have learned this, but a small refresher. If you look at this normal distribution curve, I told you always the middle value is the mean. But in a standard normal distribution, the mean is 0. But this is not a standard normal distribution. So it's only just a normal distribution curve. So the mean can be any value. However, both sides of the mean value will be equal if the z-score is the same. Z-score means what? The gap between the mean and the variable in the x-axis, as I showed previously. Alright, the gap between mean and the x-axis. So, like now, if you read this curve, since the normal distribution is symmetrical, the z-score of 2.58 corresponds to an area of 0.4949. How did they get 0.4949 for z-score of 2.58? That means the difference between this gap. See the 2.58 they mention as the gap. See, it is not a value on the x-axis. It is not. It is only the gap because it's the number of standard deviations. Okay, so what is 2.58? Let's look up at the table. Now 2.58. Now horizontal axis we should look for the 2 decimal places only. But for those that don't have a decimal place, the whole numbers must be checked in this vertical line. So 2.458, right? 2.58. 2. First of all, we have to take 2 from this side. I'm going to select this 2 here. Sorry. This 2. Then balance I need 0.58. Then I look in this horizontal line. Now, well, they have only the second decimal place only. They don't have the first decimal place. So, I cannot see 2. It's no use. I have to see 2 point another decimal place. Then because they have in horizontally they have only up to 2 decimal places with the first decimal place being 0. So I cannot use it straight away. So I have to take up to 1 decimal place from the vertical line. It is 2.5. Then the balance I need is 0.08 because to make 2.58, I need 2.5 plus 0.08 will give me 2.58. So 0.08 I'll come vertically to reach the value 0.4951, which is straight horizontal to 2.5. Okay, so 0.4951 means 49.51%. We'll see, is that the answer? Yes, it is 49.51%. They have missed the one, but no problem anyway. It's a small decimal gaps will be there, students, but no problem. What is very important is you taking it accurately. Then the examiner will not reduce marks. And also you will be given MCQ options, so you can choose the closest value to what you found. So always get the actual figure. So that 49.5%, see, they have highlighted the area that represents 49.51%. You see, it is this side section and it is this section as well. Then if you add this side's 49.5% with this side 49.5%, what will be the answer? 99%. So this total area on the left hand side, see the cursor on the left hand side and on the right hand side. The total area is 99%. That means the 1% may be this white space of both sides. Okay. That means 0.5% and 0.5% here. Then only it will become 1% to be 100%. Maximum anyway, area can be only 100 as we learned. Fine. So for a selected value, it will be definitely less because you would stopped up to here. No? Here there's a line they have drawn. So obviously it will be less than 100. If you come up to here, see the cursor up to here, then this whole section will be obviously 50%. Okay. Whereas this side will be also 50%. So it will be 50, 50, 100. That's how it works. Alright. Now, you write the z-score, the gap 2.58 they have given in the question. That you write it here. That's the gap. Then it is the gap between, I told you all, don't forget, it's the gap between the mean, this mu value, the mean and a particular x value on the x-axis. So, that's why they say the mean plus 2.58 will give 49.5% and the mean minus 2.58 standard deviation will give us 49.5%. Basically giving the range, what is it? Mean plus or minus 2.58 is representing 99% of frequency. Okay, so it is like this. So mean, the gap between mean and x2 is z equals 2.58. Okay, whereas the gap between mean and this side x1 is also equal to the same 2.58. Alright. Always z is the gap between mean and the related x values. Remember that. And if the gap is the same, then the area is also the same on both sides. So the gap decides everything. Alright. So you write, so because it is the gap from the mean, that's why they write mean plus or minus 2.58. This is the range for 99% probability, 99% of data. Okay, 99% probabilities of data. This range is what it represents. So in the exam, they will ask you, they will give, find, they will straight away give, find the range of frequencies. If they say range, students, remember if they say range, you must show something like plus or minus. Definitely you must show that. So remember, range means you should show something like plus or minus. And if it's a z-score of 2.58, then you first of all must find what is the probability z-score 2.58 gives based on the normal distribution table. So that will be step 1, right? So I will put finding frequency ranges. Okay, I would say frequency probability ranges. Step 1 is, if given a z-score, calculate the area or probability of data of that z-score based on the normal distribution table. That's what we did first. And after that, mu plus, I can't write, plus or minus 2.58. Write the range is representing. So basically for this range you don't have to find the z-score anyway. The probabilities anyway, because it's already, the z-score is what we need, no? Because as I do this I see, well, obviously z-score is given, so z-score only must be put here, and then you should just put mean and plus or minus thing. But they might ask you this probability. So then now if they might not simply give z-score, they will give only this part. Yeah, sorry. They'll give only this part and ask you. So when you look at this part, you shouldn't get confused. You must remember, okay, this is the range. That means this is the gap between the middle value mu and a particular x value we don't know. But we know the gap is 2.58. That is enough, because we know if the gap is equal to z value. And we know by using z value, the examiner didn't ask the x value, the actual data value they didn't ask. He asked only the area under the graph up to that particular x value from the mu value. So that we can easily use the table, normal distribution table, to find out what should be our area under the graph up with a gap of 2.58. We don't have to necessarily go for the x value. We don't need to find a x value because we have the gap. What matters is the gap. So gap only will be used for the table, because the gap is only equal to z value, and the z value, based on z value only they have designed the table. Okay, so use the z value and find the probability or area under the graph for such gaps. Fine. Okay, so these are other examples. Now, this is also an exercise. They have given you all to calculate Z using the formula. So you could just try it on yourself. Those are easy. Okay, let's look at this, very interesting. calculating the probabilities. Now exam style questions will be definitely like this. So you must be very familiar with how they would ask. Let's do above 80, above 90, below 108 and in the range 80 to 110. Okay. Above 80. Okay. Above 80, what are they asking to calculate? Asking to calculate the proportion of total frequencies. That means what? Probability. Okay, probability of data. That is area under the graph, under the curve. So above 80, how to calculate? First step is put down your formula, which is Z equals x minus mean or mu divided by standard deviation. Okay, divided by the standard deviation. Always put the formula first. Now, in the above 80 scenario, what is x, what is mu, what is standard deviation? So, x we know it is the actual data. So, in the question, if they give like this, for the data above 80 and so forth, then it is referring to the value x, which is 80. The mean. Did they give the mean? Yes, they have given. They've said that the distribution is normal. That means it is symmetrical. Okay. If you draw it, this will be x values and this is the probability distribution. Okay. And then you'll have your curve. I'm gonna draw a curve, right? Let's assume it is symmetrical. Okay, so this is basically how it will averagely look like. It's not a neat curve, but just get the idea. Okay, it's both equal both sides. Okay. Now above 80 mark, you all think where this 80 should come? Should it come in the y-axis or should it come in the x-axis? Where should it come? 80. Well, they have said the mean value is 100. That means if mean is here and it's equal to 100, then 80 should be below 100, no? Isn't it? So 80 must be somewhere here because it's 100, mean is 100 which is standing here, right? Now that we have found what is 80, mark it on the curve. Okay, alright. Now they are asking above 80, what's the proportion of total frequencies? Above 80 means anything towards this side. Because if this mean is 100, definitely this may be 120 and this 140 and so forth it will go. So anything above 80, no, they have said they didn't restrict the upper limit. Which means what's the area we should find? All this. Okay, up to here. Now, first we need to find several things, but so now we know, since we are covering till the end of this line, right? Till the end we are going till the end. So this particular part, let me highlight this particular part. We are considering everything, isn't it? Since we are considering everything, I told you all this will be equal to 50%. Why is that? Because we are considering all the values. If you consider all the values without a limit, then definitely this side will be 50%. And if you consider all the values this side, it will also equal to 50%, and total it will become 100%. But in this area we are seeing only up to here, this section. So now we want the orange section value, because we already have the purple section's value, which is 50% by nature. We didn't do any calculation to get it. By nature we will know that it is 50% because we consider all the x values from the mean. Fine. In calculating this orange area, you should apply the formula. So, x we know is 80. The mean is, we know, is 100. Okay, mean is equal to 100 as per the question. Standard deviation, well, they have given it is 10. See, in the question itself, they have given the standard deviation. So, you don't have to worry about it. Straight away you can apply. So let me first mark the variables. Standard deviation equals 10. Then how will you calculate z? Z equals 80 minus 100, that divide by 10. What will be your answer? Calculate and check. It will be 80 minus 100 is minus 20, divide by 10, minus 2. Now in z scores, we don't consider the minus sign or plus sign, so we can take it simply as 2. So z score of 2, what will be the probability? Now z score of 2, what is the probability? Based on table, normal distribution table. Go back to the table and let's see what will be. So in page 220 you have your table. Okay. Z score, I told you the vertical lines and the horizontal lines represent the Z scores, and the middle values are the probabilities related to those Z scores. So Z score of 2 is here. Now we don't have any decimals, right? We don't have any 2 decimal places. So you see the first item. 0.00, that is what you must select, because we don't have any other decimal point to select. In that case, 2 plus 000 is still 2, and that's equal to this figure 0.4772, which is 47.72%. So answer will be here 47.72%. That means this section in the orange section is equal to 47.72%. Therefore, totally what will be the area? Totally it should be the addition of the orange area and the purple area, which is 47 plus 47.72 plus 50%. Okay, what will be the answer? 97.72%. That is the probability reflected for values above 80. That is the proportion of frequencies, proportion of data reflected for values above 80. Let's see if the answer is correct. Yes, it is. This is what they've done. So they have shown in decimal. So in the exam they might give you in decimal, then of course you must click that this is converted to decimal, converted to percentages. So 97.72 percentage means what? Go back two decimal places, 1, 2, so it will be 0.9772. Okay, so that will be, this could be an answer, or the in percentage terms you can express whatever as per the MCQ question. So I hope you got the above 80 scenario. Now let's look at above 90 scenario. Okay. Okay. So above now, so mean is okay. Alright. So the mean is 100. This is the x-axis, and this shows the probabilities. Okay, because that's how we mark the lines. Okay, for each value, what is the probability? That is how the probability distribution curve is built. Okay, and this will be 0. Alright, so now above 90 figures. Now first of all we must find where should 90 be placed. 90 is absolutely below 100, so somewhere close to 100 here. 90 is the x values I told you. Okay, so the gap between this we can't take straight away, because to find the z value I told you, of course it is the gap between these two is the z value, but that divided by the standard deviation only will give your actual z value, because simply you can't take the difference, but ideally it's the gap between your mean and the x value. That idea you must have in your mind. Okay, alright. Having said that, let's first of all mark the region we have to find. So 90 cuts off from here up to here, and they want anything more than 90. So anything more than 90 is everything towards the right side. So if you are going to paint it, it will be everything, even this small part. We know always normal distributions are symmetrical. Okay, symmetrical. If it's symmetrical, each side is equal. But if we consider all the values only, it will be equal. If you consider up to 90 here, And if you consider up to 90 here, then up 90 to 90 it will be equal because the gap between the mean and 90 is the same this side and this side. But for this scenario, we have to consider all the values on the right hand side, all. So then of course it won't be equal because this side we are considering values only up to 90. Since we consider all values this side, we know the maximum probability of all the values is only 50, of one side is only 50%. It will never be more than 50%. Make a note of it. The maximum probability value from one side is a maximum of 50%. It will never be more than 50% because 50% this side and 50% this side only will give 100%. There is no equal breakdown to 100 because 100 can be equally divided only by 2. No? Because only two sides here, so only by 2 it can be divided. So by 2 only, the only answer we get is only 50%. So there is no way we can get more than 50% for one side if you consider all the values. Okay, now all the values if you consider, it is 50%. Now here but we are going to consider only up to values up to 90 from the mean 100. Now for this, finding the probability, we should use the normal distribution table. To use the normal distribution table, we have to find what is the Z value. I told Z value is the gap between the mean and the actual value but divided by standard deviation as per the formula. So let's give the same formula for above 90 scenario. Above 90 x and the standard deviation is always 10. So what will be your Z value in this case? 90 minus 100 is minus 10, divide by 10 is minus 1, but I told you Z values doesn't consider minus values, so you could simply take it as plus 1. If it is plus 1, go to the table now, normal distribution table, and search for the probability next to 1. Plus 1 is here and it doesn't have, our answer doesn't have any decimals. So you could use 0.00. If you use 1 plus 0.00, what's the answer? 0.3413. 0.3413. That means if you take percentage, this is 34.13%. Fine. So this will be 34.13%. Therefore, above 90, okay, is equal to 50% plus 34.13%. %. Good. So this entire thing is, sorry, I marked the wrong color. The entire thing is equal to what? The blue, light blue one is equal to 84.13%, which is 0.8413 in decimal terms. So this much of data, out of 100% of data, above 90 data are representing 84.13% of the total population. That's how you must interpret in your exam. So you should say conclusion is above 90 data, 8 represents 84.13% of the total population. So a majority of data is obtained above 90, or is available, actually not obtained, is available in the category above 90. Okay, fine. Next, let's go to another sum, below 108. Below 108 is easy now, but you have to now see where to place your figure. So now if mu is 100, if the mean is 100, below 108. Okay, interesting. Okay, so the mu is 100. They want below 108. 108 will be where? Somewhere here after 100. No. Okay, that means it's covering the area up to here. Okay, then below that means it needs the area anything up from here to. This is what they are looking for. This proportion. What is the proportion out of the total population? What proportion is represented below 108? Is what is represented by this orange line. Okay. So firstly we have to find, so we know we consider everything this side. Now everything this side means what is the percentage? I told you all this is a symmetrical. Normal distributions are always, now there's a type of normal distribution which is standard distribution, but standard distribution or normal distribution, no matter what, they are all symmetrical curves. That means both sides are equal. That means after this line, between this line, there are two sides, no? Two sides are equal. So this side will, since it's equal and since we are considering all the values, it should be 50%. Then we need only this part from 100 to 108. For that, how do you find? First of all, find what is the Z value. For Z value, you should use the formula. What is the formula? This. So 108 is equal to x minus 100 the mean, divide by standard deviation 10. It will give the answer 8 divided by 10, 0.8. Now Z, if it's Z is 0.8, we found out. So Z is 0.8. If Z is 0.8, what's the probability value based on the normal distribution table? Go to the table. 0.8 is here. And we don't have any other second decimal places. So we must select the first row, first column of 0.00. So that it doesn't change to any other number but remains at 0.8. The answer is 2.881. 0.2881. Sorry, it's not 2.881, it's 0.2881, which is 28.81%. If this is 28.81%, then the answer will be, total answer will be 50% plus probability proportion represented. Below 108 data is 50% plus how much? 28.81%. equals to 78.81%. Big range. It's a big range, isn't it? Because 38% is below 108 figures. Right? That's how you read it. Okay? Fine. Last one. In the range 80 to 110. Interesting. So they say the range 80 to 110. 80 is here. 110 is here. Okay, now let's mark. Okay, so they basically need this section. Interesting. Now to get this section, first we need to calculate this part separately and this part separately. To do so, we need the Z value between 80 to 100 and 100 to 110 because they are calculated separately. You cannot calculate them together ever at all. You must, if it is below the mean and above the mean, then it must be calculated separately. What's the Z value between 80 to 100? Well, apply the formula. Z 80 minus 100 divided by 10 is Z equals 2. And we found the answer before when Z equal to what's the probability? 47.72%. Same thing when it is 110, what's the probability or the proportion? 110 minus 100 is 10. Divide by 10, Z equals 1. And we had found it previously as well. So it is still 34.13%. I'm going to put in percentage terms. Okay. Now we have a Z value of 2. And so for 80 the value of Z is 2. So it's 47.72% this side. Because 80 is here now, and it's up to here from to the mean. The area from 80 to the mean is only this much. So answer will be 47.72. Whereas this side the answer will be 34.13 because Z is equal to 1. So a less percentage has come because Z is less. So finally what will be our answer? Total area of this everything between 80 to 110 is 47.72% plus 34.13%. Equals to 81.85%. Okay, so this is how you find the proportion for a range of data. Okay, between 80 to 110. So you should say in the exam 80 to 110 data represents 80%, 81% of the total population. Fine. I hope now you all are very familiar with the calculations of normal distribution. So remember that, see, if you consider all possible outcomes in one section, then it is definitely equal to 50%. You never change it, okay? So let's see the answer for 80 to 100. Yes, it negative. Okay. So next we'll be learning calculation of Z scores by working backwards. What they'll do here is they'll give you the standard deviation value and the mean as usual, but in population terms. But you have to follow the same approach. And even though they have mentioned it's the solution here, it's actually not solution. This is the what basically is part of the question, okay? It's erroneously mentioned solution here. So they said 50% of the population is below 120, which is, I've marked it here. And 25% of the population is below X. Now we know 50% will be one side and then there's a balance 25%. Okay, 25% which is below a value called X. Now therefore 50 plus 25 is 75%. Okay. Now we find Z values or percentages part by part. We don't look it as a whole. We look section by section. So we must now search the X value for only 25% anyway, and therefore we have to look for the Z value of 25%. Write the gap here between the mean and our X value. For that we can use the normal distribution table. In the normal distribution table, search 25% in these middle values. 25% in decimals should be 0.25. Search 0.25 in this table. So 0.22 is here, 2486 and then 2517. But this is more than 25%. And this is very close to 24.86 is very close to 25%. So you choose this, something that is below the value that we are looking for, which is 0.25. Choose the one that is always below that. So in here, what is the Z value? 0.6 plus 0.07, because the horizontal and vertical line both represent Z values. So the addition of both only will give the total Z value, which is 0.6 plus 0.07, which is 0.67. So if Z is 0.67 and mean is 120 and standard deviation is 15.75%. Now can't we find what is X? We can, because there's only one missing component. Everything else we know the answer. So let's substitute these figures to the formula. So we know Z is 0.67 equals X minus 120 divided by 15.75. Don't put the percentage mark. They have given percentage, I know, but we don't put it here. That thing you should just write 15.75. Okay. So don't use the percentage mark here. Then now solve this. When you solve, you will get X equals 0.67 multiplied by 15.75 plus 120. See the answer. $10.55 plus 120 will give you 130.6. So X will be equal to 130.55. So the conclusion is, we saw this side is 50%, this side is 50%, and this side they said 25%. So total 75%. 75% of the population is below 130.55 people or data. This is the conclusion we must give in the exam. Fine? Okay. Let's have a look at standard error of the mean. Now, standard deviation of a sample of the population. Okay. Not the total population, but sample of the population in a sampling distribution, we call it standard error of the mean. Okay, not in a normal distribution, but in a sampling distribution. Now, a sample mean within the normal distribution around the population mean, and this normal distribution has a standard deviation equal to the standard error of the mean. Standard area of the mean, this will be a formula which is sigma divided by root of n, where n is equal to the sample size. Why they are creating this is because you might take a sample of the population. Now in the sample we can't say a perfect analysis of the spread of data around the mean, because it's based on a sample. That's why we give space to mark the standard error. Alright. So it depends on two values, the size of the sample as I said, and the standard deviation of the values in the population. Now let's read the example. As we don't know the standard deviation of values within the entire population, we use the standard deviation of the value of the items in the sample to calculate the standard error of the mean. The values in the sample item should represent values of the population. Yes. So if there's a wider spread of values, there will be a high value for standard deviation. For example, if we estimate average weight of the population of a 21-year-old man by taking a sample, we will expect the value of standard deviation to be small, because if you select your friend's weight, if you are going to check the weight of your friends who are nearly your size, so the standard deviation from the average will be a lesser value, because all are nearly the same weight, isn't it? Because they are saying it's all similar. Okay, so that's where the problem occurs. So we can't say that your friends represent all, friends' weight represents all the weight of the people in Sri Lanka. We can never say that, because people to people it changes, and as you extend your sample you get a larger standard deviation, because as you extend sample you get many different types of people with different types of weight. Fine. And then the size of the sample, accuracy of a sample depends to a large extent on the sample size. Larger the sample provides a more reliable estimate of the standard error of the mean than a small sample. So that's why we consider sample size as the standard error of the mean. So they might just give you the standard deviation of the values in the sample, and they will give you the sample size, and you will have to calculate the error. Or how they will make this hard, is they will ask you to calculate the standard deviation and find the standard mean error. Then you should reflect what you learned in chapter 8, where on statistics you learned how to calculate the standard deviation for ungrouped and grouped frequencies. Accordingly, find the value and substitute it into the formula. Alright, next let's learn central limit theorem. Now, we will use the central limit theorem if the population is not normally distributed. That means there is no middle spread. Okay, that means population mean is somewhere here. It is not equal. Okay, it is not equal. So, central limit theorem states that the sample means will be normally distributed. So, central limit theorem will help us to find which mean will provide us the normal distribution. Okay.
Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned with castudies.lk for more lectures online.